Hello, Jeff Helvin here with Ballen Brands, and today we're going to talk about why WordPress remains the #1 choice for real estate websites. Now, most of us can understand that a website is great for online marketing, right? It's an online marketing tool. But we don't realize is that if it's built correctly, it's a full-on business asset. And this comes from the fact that we do lead generation, content marketing, we have our search visibility. Sometimes it's our first impression to our new customers. So when we look at it that way, it's really one of the most important assets. But not all website platforms are built the same, so not all of them could be an asset to your business. And that's what we want to explore a little bit more here today. So platforms like Wix, Squarespace, broker-provided websites, even AI, of course, now can build websites. But the problem is that the foundation you want to build your entire business asset on, right? These are proprietary tools, okay? These are things that we basically say, okay, I'm going to go to Squarespace, I'm going to log in, I'm going to set up my site, and I do this, and so that's fine. Maybe you're a hands-on person, you can get it done. Sometimes we're hiring third parties to then build these websites for us also. But at the end of the day, we're really at the mercy of what these platforms are going to allow us to do, especially when it comes to AI as well. We're at the mercy of what we tell it to do, and maybe we don't always know what that is. So it is important when we're looking at this critical business asset that we're building that's going to be around with us for quite some time, that we want to make sure we have that full availability. So the WordPress platform itself is not owned by any one company. It's considered open source, which means there's no one person that decides to make this feature available or make this function work a certain way. Okay, there's developers, marketing agencies, programmers that are able to come in and customize these different platforms. And that's why you'll see there's some similarities you can see from website to website, depending on which companies you're using, or layouts and structure, because there's a certain user interface that's appropriate, similar to how maybe Track Home would be built, right? It's functional, it's efficient, and so maybe they're built that way. But you can still tailor and customize those however you need to for your business, and that's so critical. So kind of on that home, relating it to homes, I like to do that a lot when I talk about websites, because sometimes it's hard to understand the online technical version of what I'm talking about. So let's say we are renting a home. Okay, that would be the equivalent of maybe a broker provided website or Wix or Squarespace, like I mentioned, where we don't have full control over what we can do. We're at the mercy of what the owner says that we can do. So I can't necessarily, move my logo over here to the left because, structurally this is the way it's laid out for me. Or I can't make certain drop downs, or I can't, move this here, move that there, right? So these are things that I might be limited to based on whatever platform it is that I am using. So when I'm renting a home, that's the case. Now, maybe in some cases there's a way to customize that still, and so you spend the money to hire somebody to make that change for you. Let's say I'm trying to convert a garage into another bedroom, and the owner of the home that I'm renting says, that's fine, go ahead, convert the garage, that's fine. Maybe it helps his home value over time. But inevitably at some point, I'm going to leave that house, right? Maybe my needs change, or I have new circumstances that make me leave the house, or maybe the owner just decides to no longer rent it and he's going to sell it, and so now I have to move out. Whatever investment I made into that platform, or in this case into that house, I have to leave behind. I don't get to take it with me. So certainly, that's not a good investment, or that's not something that's mine that I own. So when we think about that, it's important to kind of understand that concept. If I own the home, well, now I can knock down walls, I can change the flooring, I can put up cabinets. Like, it's mine. Anything I invest into it, it's for me to use, and it's mine for as long as I want it. And at some point, if I were to sell it, which, by the way, you can sell websites to to other agents in your office if you get out of the market, things like that. But if I chose to sell that house later, then all of that stuff that I did is still there. It stays with me. I get to continue to use it, or I get to now transfer that to somebody else. But I didn't leave it behind anywhere. I didn't invest in something that somebody else is now taking advantage of, as that previous owner. So why is that even important, right? I mean, I don't know what I don't know. That's why that's important. Okay, our businesses are constantly evolving. We don't know, what we're going to need a year from now sometimes, let alone 5 years from now. When we first started building websites, they were pretty straightforward. We had some buyer blogs and some seller blogs, and we integrated IDX. Well, things continue to expand. We have, pop-up boxes. We have lead capture tools. These are all things that have become available or that I've decided I need in my business and other real estate agents need in their business over time. So I'd never had to rebuild the platform, right? These things are available here because this is a site that I own. So I can do what I need to do on it. I can add these features. I can add those tools. Maybe I'm changing brokerages. Maybe I'm expanding to another market, right? I'm able to add those features in here just by simply adding more pages. Some of these all-in-one platforms that exist out there, they're targeted to a specific location, and you have to literally get an entirely separate website to have another location outside of the market that you're already in, for an example. So those are things that we don't always know right now when we're investing in something, what we're going to need later. Okay, maybe we want to add property management as a service, right, down the road. Maybe now I've now bought several homes. I'm going to do property management, or maybe I got my license to do property management, and that's a new part of my business. There's a lot of these website platforms, brokerage provided and otherwise, that don't allow us to add those. We literally have to have separate websites, or we just can't do it, and that's going to hurt us in our business, right? So these are all like reasonable business moves that may happen over the next year to 5 years that we're in business. And any of those could cause you to have to rebuild again, start over again, because the current platform you're on doesn't allow you to do that. So that's an important thing to consider. Now, the other thing is like sometimes we'll hear the argument, well, I can get a bigger, more turnkey website, right, for less money up front. Yes, okay. When you're working with a company that's building you a website and they're putting hours into it and the structure and the data and the format and to customize it and tailor it specific to your needs, of course, there's a cost involved in that. If you're getting, out of the box, just change some words and plug it into a system and it spits it out for you, then yeah, you can sometimes get that for a little less upfront. But what you're paying every month to utilize, again, you're renting. It's just like we say, again, with renting and owning. We're paying somebody else's equity into their home. Okay, so that's not a business asset. That's a marketing expense. At that point, it's not yours. You don't own it. So you're not building an asset. Again, you're just putting money into something every month that is going away. As soon as you shut it off, it's all gone. It doesn't exist anymore. It's not there. Everything you put into it is now gone. So it's just the general concept there doesn't change, right? Owning versus buying. Owning versus renting. This is still where, the difference between a business expense and a business asset will come into play. So basically the WordPress platform allows you to take full advantage, right, of your business, of your needs. We can compete in SEO and AEO, ask engines, right? We can build content a certain way. We can structure pages a certain way. We can do all the things that the search engines or all the different engines are wanting us to do in order to be competitive. So our title tags, where we position things, our internal linking, any of these things that we need to do, our URL structures, metadata, schema, all of those things are available in the WordPress platform, not always available in the third-party platforms, again, especially broker-provided websites or some of the other turnkey ones, right? This is already available. These are things that are built into the foundation because as an open source community that builds into WordPress, these are the things that business owners need. So it's already there. So when you own the platform, you get to choose what you want it to do for you, right? Which IDX services and CRM integrations, custom landing pages, instant home value estimates, lead magnets, event RSVPs. I mean, if you want to be able to offer those and do that, you can do that because you own the website. We could plug a tool in, add a plugin or integrate some sort of custom programming if that's what you need because there's not something out of the box that already works for you. These are all things that you can update with your website because it's yours. You're not limited to what the particular service provides you. So Ballen Brands chose from the beginning to build business websites using WordPress because it's the most flexible and robust platform available. We're not building you a website, right? We're helping you build a business asset, a marketing asset, the hub of everything that you do for your business for as long as you plan to do it and for whatever business needs that you have along the way. So if you have any questions about that or anything else related to the websites or WordPress, why we do what we do, how we can help you, by all means, please reach out to us at team@ballenbrands.com.